cursing. Just for a couple of hours.
No cursing.
Ma, oh my god. Stop it.
Alright, you good?
Yeah. Are you scratching your face? No reaction. You look nice in the camera. Doesn't hurt. Huh? It don't hurt.
Feel good?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get used to it. Your skin will kind of like just get numbed up, you know, naturally from your own body tolerance.
Yeah.
So it's not really that bad.
I'm kind of good at taking pain. I thought it was gonna be worse than this actually.
Yeah. Yeah, most people will be fine. Every once in a while, there's somebody who, you know, gets a little more sensitive, you know.
Yeah.
But for the most part, everybody's pretty good.
Huh?
Sweating.
You're sweating.
Everybody's glad it's so good. Pretty good. Just don't psych her out, you know, because people do that. They're trying to bust their fucking balls and then they freak out.
Yeah.
Just try to relax, chill out, listen to music, stare at the fucking paintings on the wall, and
Yeah.
get all distracted and shit. It seems to hurt a lot more, you know, if you just get focused and stare at some shit,
Mm-hmm.
meditate for a little bit.
Stare at me. Yeah, these paintings really help.
That's what I do when I get tattooed. I just stare at some shit. Or when people come in the room and bothering me and like, oh, how did you feel? It's like, you know, I tell them to leave the fuck alone.
Right?